Welcome everyone, this is Alan from Entrepreneurship One. We are going to be doing a quick class update, particularly focusing in your market research. Um, Before we do this, at this point, everyone in the class should have already their business idea. Ideas are like belly buttons, everyone has one, but not all ideas are good ideas in the marketplace. Meaning, what I mean by that is that not all ideas may be profitable as you go forward. So one of the ways that we identify whether an idea could be profitable or not is by doing a market research, is to identify what's already in the marketplace. Are there incumbents? Are there leaders in the market that are already servicing or doing what you're planning to do? And if they're doing it, how well are they doing it? And what areas of opportunities may you find as you do your market research? Now, when we say market research, there are really two ways to identify potentials in the market. One of them is through primary research. Now, primary research is the most expensive way to collect information. Basically, what you have to do is directly collect information from your customers. These are your efforts. Usually, this happens through surveys, whether they are online, phone, or face-to-face. You'll see many of these times on the surveys happening when you call AT&T. At the end of the call, they want you to take a quick brief survey. Or when you go to Apple Store, they will send you an email asking for information as well. The other way that you can do this is by focus groups. Focus groups is when you get 10 individuals into one room and you put them in a controlled environment when you're asking them about information or the things that you want to be doing. Um, Now, the second way of finding information is through the secondary research. Now, secondary research is what we'll be focusing on during this class. It's easier. You basically want to Google information, and as you go through this process, you'll find out what's already in the market. You want to collect information from other primary research. There's research already done by, say, Census.gov or Forbes or Harvard Review, the Wall Street Journal. They would all be great sources of information as far as what's already in the market. You're basically taking data from other websites, statistics or studies already performed by others. And this would allow you to see how well you're stack up in the marketplace. So let's go and look at your assignment. What we are looking for in your assignment is two things, really. The first thing I want you to do is to present your business idea. What is the name of your company? Description of the product or service. What problem is it solving for? And who would want to buy this? At what price? And what is your competitive advantage? Basically, what makes you different? So once you have all of that set together, your next step is to identify what's already out there in the market. What I'm really looking for in that 2-minute narrative is an analysis of what you found in the marketplace. What gives you the opportunity to become the next big deal? And basically, on your idea, how do you compare against what's already in the market? How would you be able to win? And this should be under 2 minutes or so. Let me give you a brief example of how this would work. So your assignment looks like this. It's pretty simple. Basically, do the market research to identify some information. What we want you to do is, briefly in this box, tell me what your idea, the name of your company is. Hopefully, the name of your company could be very easy to remember, so people almost can tell immediately what you're trying to do. Service or product description. Once again, give us the core idea of what you're trying to service. What is it? Childcare services? Is it a restaurant? It should be brief and simple. And then what problem are you trying to solve for? What's particularly pain point or niche in the market are you trying to go after? The next one is who would buy this? Basically what I want to find out is who is going to be your market. And then what is the price point that you think you're going to be selling it at? And what makes you different? That's your competitive advantage. Now on this side over here, what I am looking for is 3 examples of companies that are already in the market. Remember, this is now your secondary market research. You're looking for what's already out there. And you're going to tell me if they're about their service or product description. This right here should be very similar to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not comparing apples to apples. If they are completely different, then this is not your competitor. And then what problem are they solving for? You can see how they can see that they're already stacking up in the same place. Now, what is the intended market is the other question. Who are they going after? This is, again, the same question as far as who would buy this. And then the price point. How do they find their customer? Well, this is now a little bit more of analysis on your end. You need to identify, if there's companies already in the marketplace, how do usually they trying to reach their customer? Are they doing it by phone? Are they doing it by the internet? Are they doing commercials on TV? The next thing that you want to find out is about reviews. What I'm looking here for in terms of reviews, I'm really looking for the star numbers. Is it a 3.5 stars, a 2.4 star? Now, at the very end, this will be your comments. I want to know what are your thoughts. After you see a company and you read the reviews and you understand what they do, where do you see that they're deficient at? Or where are they really good at? So in this way you can tell areas of opportunities or areas that you would have to significantly become a better competitor. Let me give you an example with the company I created, San Francisco Love Tours. Right? So the number is pretty simple. It's called San Francisco Love Tours, which means that we're doing tours of San Francisco. The next thing that we're doing is I give you a description. We are city sightseeing tours. What problem am I trying to solve for? I'm trying to solve for people that are that want to get to know the city in a short time. So that in the short time really becomes where I really come in handy. This is not getting to know the city over the next 10 years or taking a class. This is a quick introduction of the city and going around on a tour. Who will buy this? I'm thinking visitors that come into San Francisco between the ages of 45 to maybe 70-year-olds. At what price point? I'm thinking maybe $35 is where will be the most competitive. And what makes me competitive is that this is almost a semi-private experience. We're not a big bus company. We're a small tour company. So then I started looking about what's out there in the market when I started doing search for tours. I started looking at duck tours, Great Line tours, the real San Francisco tours. Great Line tours also take over the market. Basically, when I was researching Google, I looked up what came out first and what was really out there. What do? They do city sightseeing tours. Walking tours. That's not necessarily one of my competitors now that I look at this. But it allows me to understand what else is out there in the market. Then hop on, hop off tours is close to my competitors, but not necessarily an exact match. So I started identifying what problem are these companies solving for. The first two are doing the same thing I'm doing. They're trying to give as much information in the city in a short amount of time. In target market, these guys are really looking for a large market audience. They're looking for lots of people. The price point is similar. And then you can see the duck bus itself, it becomes a marketing agent. They usually are on the streets, people sending out cards, and of course they do online marketing. The Yelp reviews is about a 4, and after reading the 4s and the negatives and so on, it all became as far as the tour experience because of the tour guide. If the tour guide was excellent, they got a 5-star. If the tour guide was bad, they got a 3-star, they got a 2-star. So it was all about the tour guide. And I noticed that this became a trend in reviews. If they had a really good tour guide, they immediately brought up a really good review. If the tour guide was bad, then they left a bad review. And then I started looking into some other ones, the real walking tours. They had a 4 stars. And they were looking, they had the most amount of reviews. They had the most amount of comments. This means that these people are actively trying to get more reviews and so on. And then when I looked at the last one, the hop on, hop off tours, I realized that these guys were more of a transportation base. Nobody was really taking them for getting to know the city, which was the problem that I'm trying to solve for. So this is a quick review. So the way that I would want you to do this is kind of like do the same way. Tell me your idea. Tell me what you're trying to solve for, at what price point, who would buy it, and then after you did your reviews, who is the closest competitors, and what are some of their strengths, and what are some of their weaknesses, so therefore you can capitalize on those weaknesses as we move forward. So this should be a pretty straightforward analysis. Once you have this information, the way that I want you to do it is to, you can either do it with any smartphone, and then start recording. You can just record your face as you record and tell me what your idea is and just read it out to me, and who your competitors are. Or if you want to do a screen recording, you can record your screen and go over the sheet that you have in front of you. So this should be about 90 seconds max. If you do it over 2 minutes, you may be going over too many details. So make sure that your information is tight and concise and to the point, to make sure that we are looking at analysis. The reason why I need this analysis to be tight and concise is because later on, this is going to become 30 seconds of your 2-minute elevator pitch. Your 2-minute elevator pitch is when you actually put in everything together at once. So for right now, it's okay if you take a couple minutes or 90 seconds to 2 minutes to give me the idea so that we can review what have you have found in the marketplace. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email, or we can also set up a phone call so that we can talk about it in detail.